Adwoa Saah is our guest for the morning. I already introduced the culture squad. So Jay Foley, Amy Cherry, Jason LA, and also Kojo Trip. My name is Lenny Lomote. Hello, Adwoa Saah.
Hi, my darling.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. So, Adwoa Saah, I want to start the conversation by finding out about, I'm told there's a heat wave in the UK right now. A lot of people are, crying and wailing. They can't stand the heat. How's it going right now?
Heat. That's how we're all feeling. Like, yes, indeed. It's the season of heat waves. So it's expected. And everywhere you go, this is a season where if you're a pastor, you need to be very cautious, because when you get to the town centers and you're not careful, you might just, fall as the angels that were sent on earth fell for the sons and daughters of men on earth. People are wearing more sexier clothes,
right?
Because we need fresh air. And for the Ghanaian woman I am, I'm okay, because even in the heat, I'm from Ghana and I'm used to it.
Yeah, used to it, right?
So that's about it.
Right. Because I'm like, please, is this what we are used to? That's in fact crying about. But I can understand, because UK has, relatively colder, or so much colder weather. So it makes a lot of sense. Anyway, how has the UK been treating you, Adwoa Saah?
One thing about the UK that you need to know is the character of the nation itself changes like the weather.
Oh,
okay,
tell me
and
more.
so for the people who have come, all the way or migrated from different parts of the world into this place, the culture shock is real. And if anybody will be fair and real, I'm a child of God, so I say in all things, Bible says that all things work together for my good,
and all things work together for your good.
Yeah. It's the ups and downs of the seasons, like life everywhere is. So I'll say so. Not great, not bad, not terrible.
Okay.
We're just finding our way on a daily basis.
And it's exciting that you're doing that on a daily basis, because I said earlier on the show that even as adults, we almost don't also know what we are doing. We are all on this earth for the first time, right? So it takes a lot of figuring out to do, regardless of whatever age you find yourself.
Tell me about it. I think my daughter has been here before. Because of her character,
right,
and the way she does certain things. But yeah, like truthfully, we haven't been here before. We haven't told this line and this part before. We're just all trying to live our very best life, and it's not always easy.
Right. Adwoa Saah, you mentioned migration, and that is one thing that I want us to talk about a lot this morning, right? Someone would say that you were doing so great when you were in Ghana, and then all of a sudden, Adwoa Saah, has moved countries, thriving also where you are. But what was the need for you to first move, and how easy or difficult was that situation for you as well? I'm only asking how difficult or easy it was because as a media personality, they say that if you want to relocate anywhere, because you've built your fan base, a lot of people know you here for who you are and what you do. Now, leaving the country doesn't necessarily mean that you are also going to continue with your media career in whatever country you are migrating to.
Yeah, so the need came when I got married, and I actually believe that system of where you get married and the husband lives somewhere and you also live somewhere doesn't really, most of the time, help, not unless you're Jay Foley and Liz. So, I realized that there was no way. Did I just throw him under the bus?
You did.
Okay. And so my career was booming and everything, but I felt that I really needed to create a family, and to be able to do that, I needed to come here, relocate and come here and be with my husband. And so that's the reason why I did that. Coming here, Has it been easy?
Yes. Or
You know, my
difficult?
first 3 years, I used to cry every day. I used to cry every day, and I would literally
Oh.
come out and be smiling on social media. And people are like, "Oh, her life is so great," and
Oh.
all that. And I knew that if I could take back that decision, I would take it back. But then, for whatever reason, it was too late, and I needed to concentrate on what I had come here to do, and that was to build a family. And so, yes, I didn't leave Ghana and come into the UK and come into affluence. I came into obscurity for a while, where my fame and career was concerned or is concerned,
Yes.
because
Yes.
people still know me here. My community really, really loves me here, and they support me, and I'm still doing media work here. But I cannot compare it to being in the
Ghana.
mainstream media in Ghana.
Yeah.
And so it's been difficult, especially after having children.
Right.
There have been days when I'm going to radio and I need to carry my 2 kids with me. And where I work and where I live is like an hour away. I cannot drive there because when I'm driving, it will take an hour and 50 minutes to get to Bristol.
Right.
And so the best convenient way is for me to get on the train. So I have to get these 2 kids, who are,
On
by
the
the way,
train.
very young, get them on the train with me in the morning for an hour, get on one train and get on another train and then go get on a bus before I get to work. And then when I take them to work, there's no one there to help me mind them. All I have is my phone that I'll give to them. And when I get on radio, I'm basically the DJ, I'm the presenter, like I'm the producer, I'm everything.
Right.
And on top of it, I need to put up my best show or put my best foot forward,
Yeah.
and still come out and smile and do my work and do it diligently. So I tell you what, um, it's a country of DIYs. Do it yourself.
Do it yourself,
I'm
right?
learning every day. Do it yourself. I'm learning every day. There's no mom or no help. Like, as a start in Ghana, it's quite easy to be able to get like a house help or someone to come in to help you. But here, it's not. If you think about bringing in a nanny or something like that, and you think about the hours you're working and the money you end up paying that person, you will literally sit down and say, "Let me do it myself."
I like that you are
So
being honest.
that is what I'm.
Sorry, I think that the internet is lagging a little bit, so forgive us if there's an overlap in the communication. I was saying that I like that you're being honest about the realities of what it is, right? First moving as a media personality and then juggling, the family life with work and everything. We'll get into the details of family life a bit later, right? But also, with the migration conversation, right? It's even said that once
Yeah.
you move out, it's also difficult, the coming back, the reintegration for you. I'm only asking it to ask that at the point where you regretted in the first few years, was coming back to get back into media an option?
It was because I was with Multimedia Group and they still wanted me,
Oh, exciting.
but
Okay.
I had to choose between coming back or taking care of my children. Like I said, I moved away because of the family. I am one person that's really in love with my family. I wanted to create one, and God being so good, He gave me the opportunity to have 2 beautiful nations myself. And so, even though my station still wanted me and asked me to come back, coming back was not an option for me. I didn't want to trade that. I didn't want to do that.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so I wanted to you've talked about work and doing it yourself and everything, right? You were at the height of your career. When you left. One thing I want to find out is the conversation about gender is always going to come up in every industry, right? So what was it like for you being a woman in the industry here in Ghana and then being there and comparing both instances? What's it like?
If you're a woman and you are in the world, you are the most blessed creature that was created by God.
Yeah.
I think they so many things that happen to women that if we think about it generally, we'll say it's unfair. But nonetheless, I think the most powerful people in the world is women.
I
While I
agree.
was in
I
Ghana, I
agree.
really enjoyed my office. While I was in Ghana, I really enjoyed my office. I have young girls saying, "Oh, men wanted to sleep with them to give them opportunities and stuff." But thank God for mercy and the type of gentlemen that I had to work with, from TV3 to multimedia group. I didn't have that situation, and yeah. So when it comes to gender disparity or women suffering at the workplace and all that, I really don't have much to share, because my career back in Ghana as a woman was just beautiful. I had all the right doors open for me. And maybe it was also because, by the grace of God, I knew how to relate to men. I am a woman. I love being a woman. I don't want to be any man. I just want to be the woman I am. And when I
Right.
stand out to deliver, I deliver from the depths of my being, and it shows. And so whether a man is also working or doing the same thing as I'm doing, when I come in a room, I'm not coming in to compete. I'm coming in to shine like who God has made me. And it always worked for me. And coming into the UK the same way. On Rainbow Radio, I think for now, I'm the only woman amongst loads of men. And I do my job in such a way that they always come back asking questions and, how can we do this? How can that type of thing. So not to toot my horn, but honestly,
It's okay if you
I don't
toot
have
your
any
horn.
problem being a woman. I love being a woman.
It's really
This is the office
okay.
that I was made for. Yeah.
It's okay if you toot your horn as a woman, Adwoa Saah. It's only right. I think also that people have been on that. I was saying I think was it yesterday or 2 days ago on air, that I think that we need to be honest with the younger generation who also want to get into the media and entertainment space, so that they understand that you have to put in the work, right? I understand that we are in a time where it's the soft life or soft girl era and all of that, but you also need to put your hands to do the work, right? If not, that's what will lead to the rise of people wanting to sit at certain tables, get into certain spaces, but not want to do the work, and so you have to sleep your way to the top. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that is fair that you have done the work and you've not been at the receiving end of some of these things. I think that I can relate when it comes to that. I haven't had that, at all. Also, I think that if you know what your positioning is and you make it clear to people, there's a way or there's a certain respect that they accord you in the workspace. So yeah, it's right.
Yeah. What I'd want to know, and taking it back to a bit of what you said, in terms of dynamics with, the industry that we're in here and being in the UK, because what we see is the Brits Awards, the BETs, like want to be there. So the truth is that for a lot of young people, not even just in media, right, being in the UK or the US is the next step. Do this for 5 years, 7 years. It could be for financial reasons. It could be you want to boost your career, you want to meet more people. It could be how society sees you. I mean, for you, your reason is very, very important. Family. I mean, I think it's the biggest string to be attached to, right? To make a decision for family. For a young person who doesn't have maybe those strings, right? Who is doing this for a while, who sees, again, the UK, the US as the next step, would you advise that? Are you the person who say, no, you can make it in Ghana, Even though some people might not like to hear that, because you've heard these conversations, let's leave the country, let's go here, let's go there. Everything is out there per what we see. What you've told us is very interesting, about the nanny, getting to work and all these things. So it goes back to what I want to know is the UK, the US, outside Ghana, is that truly the next step? Or is it like just, if that's what you want to do, then do it? Is that how you see it?
Okay. I know that most of you have seen athletes in the UK and in America and other places in Europe. And you realize one thing, that when they get to a certain time in their career, if they're doing well, they're making a lot of money. Do you know how many young men have that dream who were born and bred in these countries who couldn't make it up there? What we refuse to check back home is we don't go with the statistics. We don't check, we only have that mindset that is greener out here. It's not greener. In fact, it's the saddest place in the world to be at. The UK, America, and other places in Europe. There's no life here. Life truly is beautiful back home in Africa. And looking at the era that we're in, where globalization has become a thing, and the whole world is like one small village, and from here, I can access information, or you can see what I'm doing up here in the UK in a matter of seconds, like what we're doing right now on 3 Music TV, right? Back in the day, it wasn't happening, but in this time and age, it's happening, and so very often. And so I would tell the young people who want to migrate and come here, all in the name of they think it's better out here, it's worse out here. I'm not even going to mince words. I'm not going to lie to you.
I like that.
It's worse out here. Your fame will not matter. Your education, sadly, will not matter. If you want to come here and be able to do something for yourself, you need to go back to school in the UK. And before you can go back to school in the UK, I mean, we all know that you came here to seek for greener pastures. You haven't made enough money, but you don't have, Nkrata or your documents. How do you go to school? Are you able to fend for yourself and pay your tuition and go to school? So then they come here with the desire of working for BBC or working for this or that. The next minute you see the person as a security man, or someone that's doing a care work or cleaning job here and there. Why? Because when you get here, you forget your dreams. You would have to make sure that you keep body, mind, and soul going, and then you start like selling short your dreams and all that. So I would say this. There's a possibility that you can be in Ghana, work so hard, and attract the international market to you. So when you come to the UK, you come in as a boss. Am I making sense, please?
Yes, absolutely.
You come in, call in the shop because they came calling you. But if you come, like most people come here trying to seek for greener pastures, like, oh, they came here with a 6 months visa and it's not even a working visa, and they secretly want to work or upgrade their lives and all that. You find yourself in a very miserable situation. And because of the stereotype or the mindset of people back home in Ghana, you realize that it will not be so easy to just say, okay, if it's not working, I'm going back, because you'll be feeling ashamed. If I'm allowed to speak Chi or mix whatever I'm saying with a little bit of Chi, and meanwhile, you're not doing great.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yes.
So if you are in Ghana, like you guys are on TV, if you're in Ghana working in the media, working at school, whatever it is that you find yourself to do, I believe Bible says that in your giving trust, prove yourself trustworthy in that field where you're at. Do your very best to excel there. And believe you me, when the time is right, if it's in God's word and will for your life, the world will open up. And when they come for you, baby, that will be glamorous. That will be so good.
I like that. What I love about what she said is she didn't say don't go. She didn't say don't explore the world, right? Yeah. But she was given, like, she broke it down in a way that make it where you are, do your best, and they'll come calling. So I really love what she said.
You know what's going to keep playing in my head? It's going to play in my head, bro. Because, you see,
I'm telling you.
It's funny, but it's real. It's funny, but it's real.
I'm telling you.
Honestly, because we've heard stories of, some very popular media personalities who will travel and you don't see them, in the limelight anymore. They are doing any and everything that they have to do to survive. Even EL. I think EL
is a place of survival.
Yes. EL said some time ago that when he went to America, he had to be a delivery man, right? And you would wonder that, hey, this is our superstar going out there to do deliveries. Is like, okay, so I like that you've opened up honestly about this, right? But for you as well, how did it work? Because you mentioned that you're still in the media, right? For someone who doesn't have to take the route or can't wait for them to reach them in Ghana. The first them I'm referring to is can't wait for the European media or the American media or the British media to find them in Ghana before moving out. What were some steps that you took to make sure that you haven't let go of your love that you have for media?
I think first and foremost, I'd like to let you know that there are people who want to be stars or who want to be known. For me, it was never what I wanted for my life.
I like that.
It is what God has destined for me. Okay. And so I don't believe in doing any and everything to be famous or to get attention. One thing that I would love for every young man or woman to hear me and listen very carefully and perhaps try and inculcate it in your life is that whole thing of no fame is bad fame. Bad fame is bad fame. Okay.
Yeah.
And so if you're doing something wrong just to get attention, be careful, because the things that will happen in your future on the times or the days when you would need to have a clean slate, it will shock you.
Right.
Well, coming in here, I never thought that I was coming to or I was going to go into radio. In 2010, 2011, there's a lady in Ghana. She used to close Miss Ghana and Ghana's most beautiful delegates. Her name is Wendy Latizan. Wendy would accessorize us. Wendy's sister was a part of the women that were putting beautiful gowns on Ghana's most beautiful contestants. And her husband happened to be a pastor. And so in 2010, I think while on Facebook one evening, he sent me a message and said, I just saw you in the UK and I saw that you were working with a radio station. And around that time, I used to come here for holidays, but I didn't live here.
Okay.
And so when I came for holidays, I went to BBC and I prayed a prayer. I said, God, connect me to this place. I mean, you have said it already to me, and I believe and I trust that you are able to do it. But you see, it wasn't BBC that the Lord was perhaps talking about at that time.
Right.
Okay. And so when I came here, while I concentrated on working on my family and everything, a lady I know back in Ghana called and said to me, my big brother who owns Rainbow Radio in Ghana has always wanted to work with you back when you were even doing Kunkum Bagia. And the week he said to me that I should talk to you for him was the week that you announced that you had gotten married over the weekend.
Okay.
And so he's still very much interested in you. And interestingly, he has another radio station in the UK. That is the only FM station actually owned by an African in the UK.
Oh.
The rest that are operating, they are all operating in the corners, in corner. That's what they're doing. And so when she said, I said, oh, okay, but I don't want to work for no one. I actually just want to concentrate and finish what I'm doing with the kids. And then perhaps when they start schooling, I can just set up my own studio here and do my work. And she said, you talk to him and give it a try. So I spoke to him and he said, come to Bristol, let's talk about this. And so I went, and the offer he gave me was great. If you want to come to the UK and work in the media, one thing that you should be aware of is that it won't be an overnight thing. You would need to go to school for it. Even if you're educated, you are a journalist back home in Africa or in Ghana. When you come here, you need to top up. That's what I'm saying, that for most people that just come here with 6 months visa, it's a holiday visa, and you're trying to work. If you're caught, you'll be in trouble.
Yes.
And most of these media houses will not employ you anyway. And the ones that will also employ you might not pay you. And so if you don't want to work for free, or come here and be frustrated with your dreams and everything that you do, don't do it.
Wow.
Wow.
Don't do it. See, today we are getting a lot of
sound bites.
honestly, like
all
punch
these
lines.
things that she said are things that I was really looking forward to asking her, because you know how everyone keeps asking, what do you plan on doing, what do you plan on doing, and sometimes you think of it and everyone wants to travel outside, and I always
Learning
think about it that when you are working
number one.
when you're working in the media space, it wouldn't be easy for you to travel out and go and work. So it's like very enlightening. Listen to her say all these things, and it really means a lot.
But I think when people ask that question, the thing is, I'm doing something. Like, what you plan on doing? Like, when people are asked these questions, usually we ask of people who are actually doing something. But it's always, what's the next step?
Right.
The next step is the step I'm taking right now. It's like,
but you know what she said that has, just struck a chord, and I can relate to it so much, is that she doesn't want to be famous.
Yeah.
She didn't set out wanting to be famous. And you see, I say that I can relate to this thing so much because I've said it too many times on here, Adwoa Saah, that sometime back in 2019, Jay Foley said to me that you should focus more on being relevant than being famous. Like, relevance in any game keeps you there longer than chasing fame. And how that thing has stuck to me since 2019, I've never forgotten it. I didn't set out to be famous. I mean, Jason, it started with us, right? I didn't set out to be famous. I just want to work. I just want to do my work, So I can really relate when you say that, and that's really
find something you're passionate about.
When
you find something you're passionate about, God will bring the world to you.
Yes,
I think she's preaching so much tonight.
No, she's a God
today.
girl.
I said tonight.
No,
today.
no. For those who don't know, Adwoa Saah she's a spiritual, very religious person, right? And I think that will lead me into my next question, because you said that when you got to the UK, you went to BBC and you prayed. You prayed.
I did.
There's a thing about the entertainment space and spirituality or religion where people think that if you are in the entertainment space, then you are not as religious, or you are not as spiritual, or you are not as spiritually strong, right? For you, what has kept you grounded in your Christianity and spirituality?
Well, for me, Christ has been the center of everything I'm here for, or everything I've ever done in my life. I say these things in prayer all the time. You are my connector. You are my door opener. You are the one that made me and knows me. And your purpose for my life is what intrigues me the most outside of all the things I could wish for, or my mom or my parents could hope for in my life. What you intend to do with my life is what I want the most, and so do it with me. A lot of people think that if you're in the media, or perhaps you're an artist or whatever it is, you cannot be a Christian. I don't believe in that whole religious whatever. I'm not really a religious person. I have a relationship with Christ. He saved me.
Right.
It's not about being holier than thou, because none of us is perfect, and it's stated clearly and boldly in the scripture. Okay, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. And so my perfection is not from the things I'm able to do, but it's His grace and His perfection covering my weaknesses. You get it?
Yes.
Am I making sense, please?
Yes, totally.
Yes. So, in a nutshell, what I'm saying is, people out here who are Christians, there are people out here doing this job who are Christians, and we're not going to compromise on our relationship with Christ all in the name of we're media persons or whatever it is. I am first Adwoa Saah, a daughter of Zion, redeemed by Christ. Before Adwoa Saah, the actress Adwoa Saah, the queen Adwoa Saah, the TV host or the radio host, like all those things comes after my redemption and Christ for me. And so that's how I maneuver my way. So when I meet people who say, if you're a media person, you can't be a Christian, or you can't be whatever, I just laugh, because you haven't come to the place where you have encountered Christ for yourself and have a relationship with God. If you have a relationship with God, it's like having a relationship with your Father. And for most of us, at least from the two parents' homes where mom and dad are present, or even if your mom and your dad are separated, it doesn't matter. Like if you have a parent in your life, that type of relationship where they know you, they know your weaknesses, they know your strength, they are there to encourage you, they wish the best and hope for the best, and they create the best opportunities for you. That is the same way having a relationship with Christ is. So being a media person should not hinder anyone who is truly interested in Christ in having that relationship and excelling at it.
I like it when you say that, you know, you have a relationship with Christ, because that's one thing I also talk about a lot. Like, it's just so important to know God for yourself beyond what you were taught as a child. Yes, for your parents saying, oh, let's go to church, and then you just up and go without knowing, you know, what it is that you are there for, or who it is that you are there for. So it's really important that you've spoken about that. Now let's get a little bit into family. Okay, you mentioned that you moved to the UK for family, and then now after having your babies, when there's the need, you have to take your children with you to work, right? There's a tale that goes around the difficulty of women bouncing back, especially into the media space after they've taken the break to go and have babies, right? Again, in your case as well, how did it play out?
Going back to work?
Yes, going back to work.
Okay, so when I came into the UK, I think I was in a church called Bread of Heaven International, and there were people in the church that actually loved me back then, and they used to follow me on YouTube because all the things that we're doing on Adum TV were on YouTube for our international folks out here to watch, and so they all loved me. And there was a family in the church that owned an online TV called Mascot Creative TV. And so when I came in and I was pregnant, they said, you can come in and do a show. And so while I was pregnant, I started doing a show on Mascot Creative TV called Ghana Tea.
Okay.
And I think a month or two after I gave birth, I went back with my son.
Oh.
And my boss would hold my child while I'm doing the show.
Interesting.
They will hold the boy while I'm doing the show. And sometimes they need to burp him and all that. Like, and you're not happy, no.
And yeah, Mark also.
And yeah, so, and then Mark was so serious. So within, let's say, a month or 3 weeks after delivery, I was back trying to work on my passion and all that. And so I didn't really take time off. I took time off from Ghana media.
Right.
I think I did that work for like 5-6 months, and they were like, they need to restructure and do certain things. So then my pastor said, okay, I want you to become my secretary. So I would go to church with my son in his pram, and those days I think I bought one of those expensive prams. Today I won't do it, but then I thought it was the thing, you know. I think it was Zari Maima or something like that, like this pram that's used by American superstars. And Charlie, it was about 1,800 or 1,700 pounds. I'll put my son
Even
in.
today, that's quite a lot.
On buses, they would say, hey, pram mo Lamborghini pan I'll be at the mule. And it was making me swollen headed and everything. So yeah, 3 weeks after giving birth, I was back working here. Went to work for Pastor as a secretary later. Then I went to do care. I went to do care for a church member that had a care company. So I said to her, I want to work for you. She said, but you're a superstar. Everybody knows you and loves you. Why would you want to do care? I said, I need the money. Please forget the alarm. Is the alarm paying my bills?
Yeah.
So I went to do care. I did it for, I think, 6 months or so. Or, yeah, around 4 months, 5-6 months, thereabout. Then I found out I was pregnant with my girl. So I let that job go. And afterwards, I went back to work for this Uganda Kenyan TV station called Great TV London. So I don't know. I think this whole thing is about one, God's will for your life, and two, even as a woman, life here is not easy. You can have a husband, or you might be a single parent.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, there's really not much help offered here where women who are career driven are concerned or is concerned. And so you have to make a plan for yourself, because if you don't plan, you literally have plan to fail.
Yeah.
So make a plan for yourself and say, okay, after baby number 1 or baby number 2, and here what most people do is, if they intend to have 3-4 babies, they will go ahead and have them all at a go. So in year 1, I'll have one. In year 2, another one. In year 3, another one. And then maybe if it's 4, in year 4, another one. Then you know that
You're done.
I'm done having children. Then yes, then you start, helping them to come to that age where they can go to school. And in the UK, the basic school age is 3 years.
Okay.
And when they are 3, when you take them to school, is they go for 2.5 hours. So if you're driving, perhaps after you drop them, you can sit in your car and wait for the 2.5 hours, because
Not time as well, yeah.
and if you are walking or you're taking a bus or a train, then you literally have to just come
Go
down
right
again
back.
and go and pick the kids, which is something else. So most parents begin having friends who are other mothers around the schools, because when they go, they will go around that place for a while for the 2.5 hours to before they get their kids and go back home.
Would
It's
you
a
say
whole lot of work.
right? Would you
But
say you've been
Charlie,
able
this is
to?
life.
This
and
is life.
Nothing comes easy.
Truly, this is life and nothing comes easy. But I just my last question for you will be if you would say you've been able to find that balance between work, family, and social life.
I'm still getting there.
Wow. Okay.
I'm still getting there.
Okay. But in order of priority,
Anyone who would say it again?
in order of priority, it will be family for you. I'm just guessing. Family, work, and social life, right?
In order of priority, yes, it's actually God, family,
Okay.
and any other thing.
And any other thing, right?
Whether social life or whatever.
Okay. I put social life for you last because you haven't spoken, so much about social life beyond the church. So that's why I was asking about that as well. Okay. Now I already mentioned that Eniwo Bemawaka Krunso is what will be ringing in my head. Also because I've said it so many times that I mean, sometime I would love to relocate out of the country. So I'm happy that you've been honest, you've been open with us, and you've shared whatever tips there are to share. It's not always rosy, but if you have to leave us, with one advice beyond everything that you have said, what would it be?
Always pray for the will of God for your life.
Okay.
It will take you to places unimaginably beautiful.
Always pray.
He's
for
got
the
a
will
plan
of
of your
God for
life
right?
in his hands. Somewhere in Jeremiah, he says, I know the thoughts I have concerning you. They're not thoughts of evil, but thoughts of good, to prosper you and to bring you to an expected end. He's literally the ultimate. Has been and always will be.
Okay.
So in all you're doing, ask that the will of God prevail for you.
Right.
If it's career, if it's marriage, if it's migration, whatever it is that you intend to do, ask that the will of God prevail for you. And no matter what you go through, even on the worst day, you come out smiling. Even on the worst day, your life will still be beautiful. It will still make sense. It will still be a blessing.
Thank you so much, Adwoa Saah. I don't think there's anything more we can add to this. It's been wholesome, and again, we are grateful that you were able to take time off your schedule to have this conversation with us on 3 Music TV and Plus 89.9 FM, and we pray that you are able to also thrive the best way that you can in the UK. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Now that we are done, would also want you to know that you are very much appreciated. The honesty, the brutal honesty, is appreciated very much.
Thank you, guys, and I pray that the Lord expands your coast, and wherever you intend to go, all of you, even as you've had me in your show,
Amen.
may borders open for you.
Amen.
And may God give you dominion, and that which you desire the most in your life, if it's according to His will for you, may it come to fruition. I love you, and please pray for all of us that live outside of Ghana.
We will remember you all in prayers. Thank you so much, Adwoa Saah. All right, guys, it's been a conversation with Adwoa Saah, and listen, guys, I've just said it so much. Her openness, her honesty, I really like, because these are the type of conversations that we need. Before you take that step, before you make that decision, just know. Remember this conversation with Adwoa Saah. So that's a new role and my own kakuna. So what I say? Yes, it's been the Culture Daily Morning Show, 10:04, and we are ready to go. But we are back again tomorrow, 7 a.m. sharp, and the show is filled with entertainment, trends, sports, news, and more. Okay, great conversations as well. You only get it here on the Culture Daily Morning Show. My name is Lenny Lamote. I've been doing this with Amy Cherry, Kojo Tripp, and Jason L.A. But as we are leaving, just make sure that you also stick and stay to 3 Music TV. Enjoy all the music we have for you, and entertainment later on. Entertainment news later on in the day at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. respectively. Signing out.